Good Tuesday evening, everybody. Today is June 18th, 2024, and here we are 24 hours later, and we're still talking about PTC One, potential Tropical Cyclone One that will most likely become Alberto, but it is not set in stone. There are several other players on the field here that may kind of stop it from developing into a named storm before it makes landfall in just about 48 hours from now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandages. Thanks for joining us this evening. Here's a quick little refresher on exactly what a PTC is, potential tropical cyclone, tropical disturbance that has not yet fully developed, and that's exactly what we've got in the southern Gulf of Mexico at this time. However, it does enable the National Hurricane Center to issue watches and warnings, which it has done, and give us a forecast cone to give us a feel for its trajectory in its lifetime before making landfall. Here's a look at the watches and warnings. Yesterday, we were talking tropical storm watches. Those have since been upgraded to tropical storm warnings, meaning tropical storm conditions are either happening or imminent within the next 36 hours or so. Here's the latest. PTC One remains sloppy and disorganized, takes up a large chunk of the Gulf of Mexico with scattered tropical downpours and thunderstorms, but nothing really organized or congealing at this time. It does have the potential to tighten up just before landfall, likely along the northern coast of Mexico, south of Brownsville, Texas. Impacts are already being felt. There is a very large tropical envelope of moisture that's getting thrown pretty much anywhere along the Gulf Coast. You can see here the general spin in the atmosphere that's sitting over the western and central portions of the Gulf of Mexico. But that tropical moisture is getting pulled way north into the central parts of the United States. Tropical moisture making its way all the way up into the Great Lakes and even into Canada as well. Plenty of moisture here for an inbound cold front that could spark some severe weather in the nation's midsection by later on tomorrow and into the day Thursday. But nestled in between all of this kind of, spin in the atmosphere is PTC One. Hurricane Center thinks it's located in this general area here, and what we're looking at is infrared satellite. Takes the temperatures of the cloud tops. Where we have colder cloud tops, that's where the thunderstorm activity is a little bit more intense, and that's indicated by the black shading and white shading. And we don't see very much of that. And if we do, it's kind of spread out and sporadic across the Gulf of Mexico, nothing really organized. So very sloppy at this moment in time. This PTC One is actually a spin-off of a piece of energy from a larger, broader circulation called the Central American Gyre. Very normal this time of the year to see this set up over Central America. And sometimes this does spit out tropical systems like we're seeing with PTC One. Sometimes it goes into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Sometimes it spits one out into the eastern Pacific. This time around, it's in the Gulf of Mexico, though. Switching up filters again over to water vapor gives us a feel for mid-level moisture, mid-levels of the atmosphere moisture values. Tropical systems, of course, like moisture, so we do have that here with the blues, greens, and white shadings. But where you're starting to see the yellow and the rust color, certainly, that's drier air in the mid-levels, and this whole system is pushing to the west, so moving into that drier air that's up and over Mexico and into Texas as well in the mid-levels. So that could be a factor that comes into play here a little bit later on. Really not stopping all the tropical rainfall, though, that's already been falling there. We've known this for a while as well. Sea surface temperatures are certainly conducive for tropical activity. They have been that way for quite some time. You need 80-degree water temperatures, and we've got mid to even upper 80s in the southern Gulf and the Bay of Campeche. So here's the window of time that it may start to tighten up, and we may see some sort of tropical organization here that gets an upgrade to a tropical storm and gets the name of Alberto. This is the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. So here we are right now as a PTC One, but getting up with the winds climbing a bit to 45 miles per hour by tomorrow afternoon, and likely Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, potentially making landfall. Now, as this broad circulation begins to press westwards, the frictional component of the circulation interacting with land will tend to help compress the circulation and force it to tighten up a little bit. So that may be what we see happen here as it moves west and gets that compressional organization to occur. And that's when we could see the upgrade, a jump in status if you will, to Alberto just before landfall. Wouldn't be the first time we see that happen. It's quite common here as well. So with the mountainous terrain, with the land interaction, the frictional component there, that may be what happens. But there's still also the possibility that it remains a PTC right up through landfall. All right, impacts already being felt. Plenty of rainfall. This is additional. So we're looking at another foot of rain in a lot of areas in Mexico, coastal Mexico. And as that moisture encounters the mountains, the orographic lift will kind of wring out the clouds and seeing more intense rainfall and even some flash flooding and landslides potentially there. So flooding is likely. That's a very impactful event. Storm surge possible 2 to 4 feet above ground level. We're talking about from the southeast Texas coast all the way down into Mexico. Large swells out there as well, and winds too, maybe getting gusts up to 50 miles per hour in some of the more intense thunderstorm activity, but winds are not going to be a big problem here. Not the only game in town, too. We're watching two other areas, two other tropical waves right now. One that's in the southwest Atlantic. This one is going to be drifting its way to the west. Both the European and American long-range models do take it towards the southeast coast of the U.S. or even the east coast of Florida. Low development odds, though, on this, likely just increasing tropical squall activity. And then in the same area where PTC One originated from, we're looking at another wave developing potentially within the next 7 days, and that's at 30% chance. Long-range models on this take a similar track, kind of looping it to the north, northwest, and eventually west, and maybe into Mexico, the mountainous terrain there south of Brownsville, Texas. A lot of time to watch it, though, but it just gives us a feel that the tropics are beginning to kind of wake on up as we're headed towards the end of June. All right, that's the latest on today's update. You can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. We'll be posting a video there again tonight, Tim Talk Weather, for updates on tropical weather, and we'll see you again tomorrow night, same time.